I'm not sure if you see those, Carls, yourself, those ads, but they start like coaches, consultants, service providers, and that's how you start the ad. And they're like they're all like they forget about if that's an exclusivity thing, if that's a premium thing. Like, how can I convey that with my messaging? How can I speak to those people? I don't think a lot of people know how to speak with that exclusivity level. Like, how do I understand how these people think and how do I speak to that type of level? Like, that's a massive
problem.
It's really important to be hyper targeted to the specific people that you want to attract. So in this part alone, when you start to run your ads or you start to post organically, they are going to qualify themselves already of whether or not they would take your offer.
Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the Omnichannel Podcast, a podcast from digital marketers to digital marketers. I'm your host, Dominika Legrand, and my mission is to help fellow marketers, entrepreneurs to grow their businesses online. So buckle up and let's get started.
hello, hello, hello.
What is up?
What is up, listeners? How are you, Carl?
I'm good. It's a little bit windy here in Manila. This is what
What's happening?
we
Is
like.
it like the rainy season still?
Yeah, it's rainy season. Sometimes it rains, sometimes it storms. And what we like here in the Philippines, of course, not a lot of people are having cars or able to commute properly or smoothly,
Mm-hmm.
especially here in Manila. So, um, having this season, windy season, is just
Mm-hmm.
a comfortable climate here because in the Philippines you have like I don't know, in some other places all around the world, they have like winter, spring, summer, and fall. Here in the Philippines, we
Mm-hmm.
have hot, hotter, and hottest. So
Great.
it's really ideal to have like some windy season, but definitely,
Oh, okay. So I don't know why I first, sorry, I thought that when you say, "Oh, it's windy," oh, it's horrible, but you actually like the wind. So
no.
wind is good. Wind is your friend.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wind is friend here.
Well, here is not so much because it messes your hair up, and you're like, "Oh my god, my hair." So we don't like wind, but it makes sense. It's very humid there. No, it's super humid.
Yeah. I want the listeners to know where are we exactly located. Tom, where are you located?
Nice.
France, right?
Yeah, and it's like super. It's there's a sea and it's wind, and it's beautiful, but we don't need it, that much. It's not that humid either. Winters are very low key. You can still go out and jog in shorts during the winter, but it's still chilly enough for you to wear coats. Whenever the sun is setting, it gets a bit chillier, but it's not like you're not freezing to death, right? So it's good. It's nice climate, sunny every day. I can't complain, honestly. I love the weather.
Yeah. Love the
I,
weather.
I don't know how you
Okay.
do, Philippines. I think that would be too hot for me and humid. So, no, it's okay. So, Carl, what are we going to talk about today?
So we are going to be talking about how to
Okay.
attract people who can afford your services. If we're going to speak that in a marketing perspective, how to find the quality leads, right? And
Mhm.
how you
Mhm.
would avoid wasting time speaking to unqualified leads. We're not trying to be rude, but
Mhm.
in terms of business, you want to speak to the right people, right? Of course, you
Mhm.
want to attend to everyone's needs, but in terms of
Mhm.
your business, you want to have engaged people who would really convert, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm going to ask you, Dom, would you rather speak to 100 people and get like two conversions, two sales, or rather speak to 10 people and have like eight of them convert, right? Like
Yeah.
the answer is obvious, right? So today we would want to speak about how you can get that quality of leads. And this is not just about Facebook ads or anything about advertising. This is more of like a whole online marketing in
Yeah.
general. So yeah, let's hit it.
Let's hit it. So, how do we come up with this topic? First of all, I get this a lot. I'm not sure if this is an issue for you, Carl, but like, help! I don't know why, but I'm attracting people who can't afford my services. Like, right? Like that's That's super common, and no matter what you do, people are like, I don't know what's happening to me. No one can pay me. Maybe I should lower my prices. And that's like, no, don't. You just need to fix, your marketing stuff.
Yeah. You don't need to lower your prices to be able to compete or win the competition from your competitors. It's just more of finding the right message, speaking to the right
Mm-hmm.
people. And today we're going to dig
Mm-hmm.
into
We're gonna
that and
dig
how
into
to speak.
that.
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
Okay. What's
let's
in our
get
first
into
bullet,
that.
Dom?
Our first bullet, because we're super prepared this time, by the way. We literally like went out Tuesday and messaged Carl like, "Hey, Carl, are we gonna prepare? We're gonna wing it again, like one more time." And Carl was like,
Yeah.
Okay, let's do something." So, so we have bullet points now, which is like
Yeah.
huge, right? So the first one, what we noted was unqualified leads, and what
Yeah.
processes can you implement to qualify them? What's your take on that, Carl?
Yeah. For me, it's more of like, when we say unqualified or qualifying people, for example, if you're running some type of a pitch organically or in advertisement, you want to be able to qualify these people in the questionnaires that you are presenting them. For example, if you're running a lead ads, you want to attract the right people, then definitely having some questionnaires that would make them think if they're really qualified to your freebie or your offer or anything that you're giving them for value, right? So if, for example, if you are targeting people who want to scale, or if you're targeting businesses who want to scale, then I would ask questions like, how many employees do you have, or how many, or what's the reason for your scaling? So
Mm-hmm.
startups would immediately disqualify themselves because you don't give a choice. You don't want to give a choice or a or yeah, a choice or an option for them to give an answer that I'm just starting out. So definitely
Mm-hmm.
in that level alone, people would just close out the window and just continue scrolling,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah, I love
yeah,
that you say that they could disqualify themselves, but sorry to interrupt you. But with that said, you also need to know like who do you want to target, right? Like you need to know the
yeah.
qualities of the clientele
Hmm.
that you're looking
Hmm.
for, as far as even their social economic situation, if they can't afford your services, especially.
Hmm. One of the things here is, of course, people are super broad with their messaging.
Mm-hmm.
um this is a crucial part for me, and it always circles back to having that buyer persona.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for the saying that riches are in the niches. Rich
Mm-hmm.
niches, I don't know how to say that word, but yeah. It's specifically, you want to be able to speak to a very specific people that you want to attract, because I see a problem that what most entrepreneurs think is that they're afraid that they're going to miss out on a huge chunk of potential buyers if they speak to just
Mm-hmm.
a specific group of people. It's really important to really be hyper targeted to the specific people that you want to attract, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in this part alone, when you start to run your ads or you start to post organically, they are going to qualify themselves already of whether or not they would take your offer. So this includes your copy, your captions in your posts, your VSLs, your video sales scripts, emails, landing pages, etc. And it should be customized according to your buyer avatar. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you just have to call them out. Yeah, I just have to call them out so that you know that you are targeting to the specific people before they even click on your post that would,
Mm-hmm.
you know, make them take advantage of what you offer.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Of course, we're gonna always circle back to the basics, right? I think you cannot possibly bypass the basics of, hey, like who are they, like do you know like how much they
Yeah.
make, and then how to talk to those people. And I think especially now there's a huge demand on just going back to your super broad messaging to do the opposite, and and how do I speak with that exclusivity? It's so funny because even and that's the oldest trick in the book. I'm not sure if you see those, Carlos, yourself, those ads, but they start like coaches, consultants, service providers, and that's how you start the ad. And they're like the whole line, coaches, consultant, and I'm like, okay,
Hoping
okay,
you
I see
scale
you. Scale, do a scale.
to 20K per
No,
month.
yeah, no, but you see like those headlines with the messaging like super broad, like, oh, all the coaches, and I'm calling out. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I can see that, but that's literally a lot of people. Like, you don't tell me like all coaches, consultants, and service providers can pay 10K for your program, or I don't know how much you are selling it for, unless it's like a
Yeah.
low ticket, right? Then like, okay, you can talk to everyone. But that's one thing that I think is the oldest trick in the box. Like, oh, I'm just gonna put like coaches, consultants, and service providers in my headline, and that's how I'm gonna start. In my copy. Sorry. So that's what I see. Like, that's what people are doing, but they forget about if that's an exclusivity thing. If that's a premium thing. Like, how can I convey that with my messaging? How can I speak to those people? Are they gonna be, with a massive all caps head? Like, is that gonna work for them? Probably not, right? So it's I don't think a lot of people know how to speak with that, exclusivity level. Like, how do I, understand how these people think, and how do I speak to that type of level either? Like, that's a massive, massive, massive problem.
Yeah. And this aligns with, I love that you spoke about that because this aligns with your brand consistency as a whole. So
Yeah.
if you're targeting like coaches and then consultants and then service providers, then definitely there will be misalignment
Yeah.
to your messaging in your entire content strategy, right? Let's not
Yeah.
talk about ads. Let's just talk about content,
Hmm.
because this is the backbone of your business. So you would have like some content specific to coaches, specific to
Hmm.
like different type of people, and then people would sense or smell that inconsistency. For
Hmm.
me, for example, if I listen to a podcast, I don't use a lot of times. There are some podcasts where this is so great, this is so cool, but
Hmm.
I wouldn't listen to all of their episodes and binge
Hmm.
binge
Hmm.
listen to their all of their episodes, because
Hmm.
not all of their episodes are so aligned to what I do. So you
Yeah.
see the inconsistency there, versus to if you are very specific to your target audience. For example, if you are targeting just coaches, then you
Hmm.
speak to coaches, and this is very important in the beginning part of your process. Now, we're not saying that your messaging couldn't be broad, or you cannot target a different type of people. But if you see, for example, like Neil Patel, they speak to a lot of people, entrepreneurs in e-com, coaches, or different types of businesses, because these brands are super well known. Like a lot of people are really pitching their businesses to be able to work with them already. Like, these are super, but especially if you're just in the beginning process, it's really crucial to have a niche, to really
Hmm.
boil down to who you really want to target and how you can help them.
Yeah, and I love that you said that. I love Neil Patel. That's a great example. And just going back to the podcast episode, like, yes, there can be a podcast episode that applies to you, and you are immediately able to see like, oh, that's me. I'm gonna listen to that. And so I'm not gonna listen to like 400 episodes, because that doesn't apply to you, and that's fair, and that's already done because the title is in a way that you can identify, oh, okay, I think I could, if I listen to that, I will learn something. So we
Yeah.
do this all the time, not just with podcasts. We like think about YouTube, like go on YouTube, like you keep scrolling, like, okay, what do I want to watch? And of course, when you see a title, when you see a thumbnail, when you see some content that you think is interesting for you, that's what you're gonna watch. And it's insane to me that to generalize all the service providers and coaching and consultant, and assuming that they all just want money. Okay, that's all you want. good, because that's a wild assumption of like, oh no, I think everyone wants just money. Like they just want to scale up to 10K or 20 or whatever K. But I don't think that's always the case, and that's also killing the business, because maybe some coaches, they want impact, or they want to be seen, or getting to more people because they are more impact driven, not really like, of course money comes with that, but it's not how you pitch them, oh, 10K, like whatever promises there are there. So it's so generalized. So I think just circling back to the way you're messaging is very, very important. The other thing that we are going to move forward, like once I see the ad and I'm like, cool, and I go into the landing page, and it's just like exclamation marks, all caps, and things that are blinking, like those spammy ones are just a huge turn off. And I think, again, agreeing with you, Carl, like, okay, like how do I create that aligned and also stay consistent with my brand, congruent with my brand? And that can be just a massive buzzkill when you have those landing pages that are just like spammy looking.
Yeah, I agree with that. Of course, people think that, I mean, most of entrepreneurs, I mean, a lot, not most, but a lot of entrepreneurs think that, once you nail your offer, once you nail your, like, these are all important factor, but they disregard design.
Mm-hmm.
Design has function in the business. You got to understand that's like a secret ingredient to all of your marketing campaigns. Have a good designer. Look up on Fiverr, of course,
Or
depending on your
hire
budget.
Carl's team.
Yeah, or hire me. No, I'm not saying that, but these landing pages, all of your websites, your ads, or anything that comes across to your sales funnel
Mm-hmm.
should be having a good design and having a good, because it builds authority and trust, right? It builds that level of trust that, when I click on an ad, or when I even see a video or an ad on Facebook while I'm
Mm-hmm.
scrolling. I've seen some landing pages or some sales page that are like created from Windows 95, in the era of Windows 95. You know those,
Yeah.
those Open Sans or Calibri text fonts. Like,
Yeah.
we don't care about designs then, but right now it's really crucial to have a good, you know, good designs in the sales pages and the landing pages.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that changes the game if you have that.
Yeah. And just like you said, with not just the design is like one part of it, but also like the what you put in the landing page, like text is also important.
Yeah.
Oh my god, like God bless. I love all my clients. They are amazing, right? But like sometimes you tend to fall, like when they are building their own landing pages and I am go checking on them, they're like, buy now, and like exclamation, 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 don't miss out, it's a no-brainer. And then no, that's what your ideal client should think, that it's a no-brainer. You just shouldn't put like
Hmm.
it's a no-brainer and
You
like
know,
uh,
you should you shouldn't give it an exact words. You shouldn't put it an exact words like this is a no brainer.
this is what
make
they
people
did. Oh my god, God bless
make
them.
people think that is a no brainer to
Right?
buy from you, but not to the point that you're going to like spell out no
No, it's a
brainer.
no-brainer. And then like exclamation, exclamation, and that's like a high ticket program, right? So no, like don't like do that. But I think, like, what do we say to people that are perhaps guilty of this? Like now you're listening, like, okay, I'm that person who puts exclamation marks and spells out no-brainer. Like, what do we like? How do we send them to show them quality landing pages? Like, do you know anyone who we consistently see quality landing pages from? Like, like someone they can check out as well.
Frank Kern, Dom's
Yeah.
Dom's
Okay.
ultimate crush.
No, I love him. I wish he was my father. He
Yeah.
could be. He's 51. He could be my father. please adopt me, Frank, if you're listening to this one. Yeah, I think that's a
Yeah,
good
well,
one.
yeah, well, just type on Google like um top influencers in your space, right? And then
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm,
try to go to their landing pages, try to like stalk on them, go into their email list, sign up for their newsletters, and then when they have an offer, try to look what kind of deals are they doing, what kind of
mm-hmm,
messaging are they putting there,
mm-hmm.
how do they, like these people are very successful already, so all you have to do is not copy them but have an inspiration in what you can put out, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't give I can give many examples right now, like um
No, I
there's a
think it's
lot, there's
good.
a lot,
No, I think
right?
that's good. Like you said, like look at the top dogs in your niche because I was like, oh, just check out Dan Log and Peng John.
Yeah.
Like I think they can build landing pages. Like I
Hmm.
wanted to be like, more tactical than strategic, but I think you make much more sense than I do. With saying like, hey, just look up the top, whoever in your niche and just check what they're doing and just, get some inspo from that. Okay. So your answer is much better than mine. Right? I give you that.
That's okay. That that's okay. Yeah. So I want to have I don't know if this is going to be aligned with what we're talking about right now or what we're discussing, but a caveat here, but we can just edit this out if this doesn't make
Mhm,
sense. But a caveat there is that you might be getting a good quality lead, but
mhm,
you're getting low conversions, right?
mhm,
So people are coming into your leads, they're engaging with your emails, but the conversions is very low. So I
mhm,
think the main reason for that is that there's just not much romance, or there's not much courting, and you're
mhm,
immediately putting out the ring and asking them to marry you,
mhm.
right?
Yeah,
You need to
yeah.
dance on it, you need to make them like you, trust you, build your
Mhm,
authority in your emails, whether it's beyond messenger or link them to your YouTube. You want to
mm,
show that you are this person who can really help them out with
mhm,
their certain problems, right? So you really want to build that connection, because sometimes you may be getting that good quality leads, but you're not able to follow them up, bombard them with enough value for them to like,
mhm,
know, and
mhm,
trust you even more. That's why
mhm,
when you make your pitch, you don't get the conversions that you're looking for, right?
mhm.
So I
Yeah.
don't know if that makes sense, but that's just
No, that
something
does
that I
make
thought of,
sense.
right?
And I love that you said that, and that makes perfect sense. But I think a lot of people are like, I want sales today, I want them to convert now. Okay. There's a lead, they have to buy like today. And it's so hard to, first of all, explain to people that that's not how things work. And unless it's a low ticket, okay, we don't talk about like 10
Yeah.
bucks, maybe 50 bucks, maybe 100 bucks at best. Low tickets are easy to sell, right? But if you have anything, and we are talking about quality leads, anything more worthy to sell, I mean, the reality of the things, that's just not going to happen right away. I mean, that's very, very, like, unless your client is an idiot and they don't do research, um, or they are very impulsive buyers. But I don't know. But I think it's not just for your client, but for you, it's like a dance. You both need to see if there's a fit. The client has checking whether or not they can work with you or you can help them, and you do the same. Like you need to check whether or not you can help the person and they're a good fit for you. So it's not just because they have
Yeah.
money, they have a credit card that makes them
Yeah.
your ideal client. It doesn't work like that, especially if you are like a service provider and you need to check like, okay, even though you have a credit card, you're an asshole and I don't want to work with you, or you're delusional and I can't help you. So it has to go both ways, and that takes time, unfortunately, or not unfortunately. So for sure there has to be that in a process, that building that up. But it's so hard for some entrepreneurs to, first of all, deploy that. And even though they have a ton of leads, they're not converting. They're like, okay, they're not quality. they might not have money. So we are making assumptions here, don't you think? Like, oh, I have 50 leads and like I pitched my course and none of them bought. Like, I think they are not quality. They don't have the money. Do you think it's a money issue? Like, or do you think it's the fact that you just didn't nurture them or didn't have the relationship with them?
Listen, this is gonna go back. This is gonna tie back to
Mm-hmm.
Dom's signature reaction to people are smart enough
Yeah.
to to
Thank you for
to
quoting me.
I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember your exact words there, but I think it was along the lines of people are smart enough to decide where their money's going to be spent. And if
Yeah.
you're just going to put out some
Yeah.
vague shit, people are not going to buy, right? And again, it ties back again to, really knowing your buyer persona, knowing their problems and how you can specifically address these concerns.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, I'm like laughing because you're quoting me, but I mean, I hope I drink my own Kool-Aid. I preach, I do what I preach. But I just don't like this how people are trying to scam people to buy and sign up when I don't like that those intentions, right? That's why I said just because someone has money doesn't mean it's your client. And even you as a service provider, your coach, consult, whatever you're doing in your business, you should also have your expectations. Like me, I need to, like, first of all, who do you targeting? But what's my expectations from the clients? Like, how do I want them to be? I want them to be coachable. I want them to be open-minded. I want them to making this much money per year. I want them to be like this, right? Like it also have my qualifications, not just like who needs my help, but like who do I want, for my business. And that not everyone is going to be in that category, even if they have the money, right? So you have to be more, you know, conscious of that as well when you are messaging people or qualifying your leads, right?
I don't have anything to add to that. You said it perfectly,
Mm.
Dom.
Thanks. Um, so another issue that I see, and I'm gonna give you like a story time here. So they were like, "Oh, I'm not sure what's happening. Like, no one has money to pay for my services." I'm like, "Okay, so what's your lead magnet?" Well, my lead magnet is an ebook on how to scale from 0 to 10K in a month. I'm like, okay, that's why, because your program is 10K and you're targeting someone who has like 0 to 10K, meaning that they don't have 10K right now. Okay. So you're trying to attract people with a lead magnet that's clearly is something that if they are in the category, it just doesn't make sense. They don't have the money. Of course they don't have. They want to go there. They want to get there. They're not there yet. So if you are giving them an ebook on how to scale to from 0 to 10K, then yeah, it's not gonna work out. So that's the lead
Yeah,
magnet, the cheap lead
that's
magnets.
awesome. Oh yeah. For me, I will want to add that to that because it's amazing that you talked about that. But for having these cheap lead magnets, and
Hmm.
you mentioned here that you're trying to attract whales with one-page ebooks.
Yeah.
What I would advise there is that you need to give more value. This comes down to
Hmm.
what Gary Vaynerchuk has always been telling us to, like, jab, 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 right hook. You want to
He,
provide as
he
much
should
as value.
adopt you as well. He's your favorite one.
Yeah, and you have Frank Kern.
Yeah. At least we both have our crushes, okay? That's settled.
Yeah. So, yeah, you listen, you want to over deliver with your leads, right? So if people notice that you are really this type of person who wants to over deliver, for example, if you have a lead magnet and you send them that ebook, when
Hmm.
they get to that ebook, give them a video message or a video tutorial on how
Hmm.
to get to their goals much
Hmm.
faster for free. Bombard them with more value than what your
Hmm.
lead magnet promised, right? And every day you would want to dance with them, just providing and providing and providing value.
Yeah.
Just like That's the secret sauce. Like you want to be able to give enough value to for people to really like you. Like if people would say that, hey, this guy is really amazing, he's really giving a lot of content, he's really, hitting the pain points that I'm having,
Mm-hmm.
you sure are going to have some results there, because building that authority, building that trust that you're this guy who can provide that much of value is something phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. No, I think I love that you said that, and it's so true. Um, and that's a huge fear for a lot of people. Like, I don't want to give too much value. Like, what the hell I'm gonna teach? Like, I'm gonna give out the farm. Like, oh, like what am I gonna do then? So that's a huge fear for people. But I don't think that should be something that holds you back. The other thing I wanted to say here is just like when you said, okay, value is super massively important, but think about how you become a fan of someone. And another story time, there's a public speaker guy here who literally speaks um, like a stand up comedian, except he covers mental health subjects. And I stumbled upon his YouTube and I went to his seminar and I have his book now. And I
Mhm.
literally wanna, I mean, message and like work. I wanted to approach him right after. I'm like, oh, like, hey, can you like help me because I think you're awesome. But I was chickening out. So next time he comes in town, I'll hunt him down. But just by listening to this guy and like, fuck, that's actually super helpful. And then, oh, I'm gonna apply that, and I will see the changes. I'm like, okay, cool, that helps. Now I'm gonna get his book. I'm gonna get his time. I went to his page for his seminar, so I'm a super fan. And I have yet to like go one-on-one work with him, but that's what I want to do because I was getting free value. Like I could watch his YouTube videos and I paid to go to his programs. And now I'm like, okay, what else? Like I want to know more. And that's it. Like I'm became a super fan just like that because of the amount of free value that this guy was giving online. And I could find myself. And then everything else, like the way he structured his business is goodwill marketing, is like, I'm helping you, you see, you apply that works, cool, so you're gonna come back to me once more and consume more content and buy my books and come to my seminars. And he even had like summer camps that I was considering going, like, okay, summer camp with this guy, let's go. Didn't go yet, but you see, it's so organic to building up the fan. You're gonna be a fan of the person if they can help you with something and you apply those things. And it's like, okay, I'm excited to even work with that person now.
Yeah, I think this relates to what Frank Kern has used to say. I think I heard him mention this before. I don't know if I'm going to I don't know if we're going to throw out the exact words, but
Mm-hmm.
it comes with the lines of the amount of value that you give out and distribute
Mm-hmm.
is directly proportional to how you would make the revenue,
Mm-hmm.
how you make the revenue, right? Like something like that. So the
Mm-hmm.
amount of value that you give to people is something that you can expect in return.
Yeah.
You're giving out a lot of free value. You're not really afraid of what's going that people are not going to come to you because they already have what they have because of your content.
Mm-hmm.
But listen, if you are afraid of, I don't know if we're still aligned with our message right now, but this is
Mm-hmm.
really crucial for really a lot of
Mm-hmm.
coaches and course creators who want to produce
Mm-hmm.
content, and you are afraid that people are not going to get in touch with you or buy your course or buy your coaching program because you think that they've already seen enough from your
Mm-hmm.
YouTube videos, from your Instagram videos. People want to have a blueprint or a
Mm-hmm.
special guide, and because they know, like, and trust you, you are the person that they're gonna
Yep.
come across, they're gonna connect with, right? So don't be afraid to like spill out all this all the secrets that you have, because at the end they're still not going to be able to connect all the dots.
Yeah.
They want a specific and step by step process how they're going to be able to solve their problem. So when that time comes, you know, that they're really eager, and you already get past the awareness stage and you get past the decision stage, they're
Mm-hmm.
going to come to you because you're the one whom they like, trust, and want to connect with, and want to
Mhm.
take out the money and give it to you.
Yeah. And the fact that they know that you can solve their problems, right? And because they
Yeah.
seen you do it. They've seen you, for example, set up campaigns, or they've seen that the results that you were getting for other people, or they've seen, content that they applied, and they're like, oh, cool, that works. And when it comes to making decision, you are the only person that they're gonna go for. So that's really, really super important that you saw that. And I think when you have a lead magnet, you can always over deliver. If you have one chance, and maybe think about it this way: if you have a premium something that you're selling, and you have one chance for to convince someone from zero to come to become your client, what do you think you should teach them, or what do you think they should know, that once they implement it, it will make a change in their life, so that they will not think about who else should
Yeah.
they go to? Maybe
Yeah.
that's a good way to go about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really a game changer there. And the way that you, and if you do that, you're already ahead of like 75% of your
For
competition,
sure. For sure.
who's not ready to give value, who want a consultation first, and then alignment first before they
Mm.
hopping onto these calls, and want to make
Mhm.
sure that you can pay for it before you
Oh yeah, I hate
sign
this.
up with their programs, because you're over delivering the value. They
Mhm.
already know you, they trust you, you've already built that foundation, and it's a no-brainer. That's where the no-brainer comes in.
Yeah. And it's so funny because I had that fan relationship with one coach out there, and I love their podcast. And when I was booking a call with this person, they actually had a box like, I have the money to invest in myself. And I had no idea how much the coaching was, right? Before I went, I'm just like, I felt like so weird about ticking the box, like, I have the money to invest in myself. Yeah, but like, I don't know yet. So whatever. I didn't like that they have that question. I'm thinking they're disqualifying people with this button, but I think a lot of people disqualify themselves because they don't know what are they looking up, like how much that would be. And then once we went into a call, um, I was people like, this person was asking me questions, and I felt like, okay, I was like, okay, I can help you get there. I can help you to your goals. I'm like, cool. So how? Like, can you explain to me? Like, and that this person was unwilling to give me any information on how that will happen. And I'm like, I my logical brain was like, what is like, so again, it's like, okay, we're gonna get there, and I should trust you because I guess you have clients who manage to do that. But there was no value. Like, this person didn't say like, hey, okay, I can hear you. I think right now what you can do is apply ABCD, and if we end up working together, I can help you with more. But just with this call, if you walk away from this one, you can try this, and then see if that helps. If it doesn't help, yeah, we can figure out how we work together. But that didn't happen. I had zero value from that phone call. I Skype call, whatever call was that. And I walked away with like, I don't want to sign up because I just don't feel like I want to. Like, I have no clarity on what's going to happen to me. I have no clarity on whether or not you can help me. I think you can. I'm not sure. I mean, I listened to some of your podcasts. I think I like you. But then the fact that we went into a call, and I just like felt like I was just another one, that. And I also felt bad because I ticked the box that I can invest in myself, but it was never about the money.
Mhm.
It was more about,
Yeah,
I wasn't convinced that this person can actually help me. So it completely blew the call. So yeah, that never happened, that coaching session.
that's a good story. And I really like that you mentioned that, because most times we really just want to, of course we're in business. Let's
Hmm.
get straight to the fact that we want money. That's why we created this business in the first place, of course.
Yeah.
um but the fact that you don't want to over deliver, the fact that you're not coming, if you come from a position of really just wanting to help,
Hmm.
right? So you're a
Yeah.
coach, you have a course.
Mm-hmm.
If you are someone who's really coming from, you have that mindset of, I want to help this person, not like,
Mm-hmm.
how can I take this person on my buyers list,
Yeah.
right? You will ultimately, people would sense that. People would
Yeah.
already smell that you're really just up for the business,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're someone in the relationship coach or health
Yeah.
coach, right? um, you are speaking to people who are having some mental problems or emotional
Mm-hmm.
problems or
Mm-hmm.
something that is, they have these circumstances in their life that they want to address, right? They have
Mm-hmm.
these concerns. So if all they already feel like they can smell that you're in there for the money, or you want them to join your buyers list, they
Mm-hmm.
would literally sense that, and it wouldn't make sense to have them on a call, right? Because it's really disgusting. I've had those calls too. I've had some of
Mm-hmm.
those, um especially when I was starting. There was
Mm-hmm.
this guy who messaged me, and oh, you want to start with the Facebook ads, you want to start with the marketing, oh, I can help you, yada yada yada. And then
Mm-hmm.
I went on to hop on a call, and then at first he was super excited. He was, hey dude, how are you going, how's it going there in the Philippines? Yeah, yeah, here in the Starlight, yada yada yada. And then once
Mm-hmm.
he found out that I was someone who was really, at that time I was really a beginner,
Mm-hmm.
his voice went down, like, and I could literally feel his breath. It was like, ah, he was really thinking, oh, how am I gonna end this call, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, dude, so yeah, really, like,
Yeah.
these type of things that, right now I'm already in scaling my business, and I don't even want to talk to him about, because
Mm-hmm.
I think
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
he was such a dick at that time.
Yeah. And first of all, like, of course, we go circle back to like qualifying, people. Okay.
Yeah.
So this conversation would have never happened if he was taking his time to see if you are at a stage where he can help you, and maybe you wouldn't feel like bad about wasting his time, or he wouldn't feel bad about his time being wasted if he just takes some time to ask you a couple of questions or before you go into a call together, and decide whether or not, or determine whether or not you are at a stage where he can help you, right? That whole conversation would never have happened. And I don't want to be like, well, you should disqualify people that are not at this point, but you can still give them something but disqualify them. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
So when I have a ton of people reaching out to me all the time, and because I have my own requirements of why I would take a client, so I always, like, in my head, like, is this client is hitting my internal checklist, the amount of money that they make, the product that they sell, experience in marketing, ability to close. Like, I have all of the things that I'm trying to assess when I'm talking to a uh, newcomer client,
He'll come.
and if those don't meet my personal requirements, I
Mhm.
will tell them, okay, I don't think, because that doesn't make sense for you and for me, but you can
Mhm.
still do A, B, C, D. And I think that, and they literally walk away with a consultation, free consultation
Yeah.
on that spot. And they're like always like, oh my God, thank you so much. And they leave me like testimonials, like, dude, just drop a testimonial somewhere if you want to, like that. If you want, then I'm happy to have that. But that's what they're like, okay, can I just drop you some comments here and there, and then cool, we move on. Okay. And maybe once they find, in their business, they get to the point where they could be a good fit for me as well, they come back. But it's always with that in mind, like, how can I give them value with this call, even though we're not good fit? I think you should do ABC. Or even with content, I can say, hey, check out this episode, check out that episode, check out this book or that book. I'm sending them to some knowledge, right? So that they don't walk away empty handed. And that's, I think, a good one,
Yeah.
because then they can come back to you anytime.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And there was story time for me as well. There was this potential client who came to me and asking to she wants me to run her Facebook ads, and
Mhm.
I was asking her to, what's your budget and things like that. And at the end of the call, I figured that we're not going to be a fit for each other.
Mhm.
So what I did was to give her a mini consultation about what can
Mhm.
happen, and I actually gave her a strategy of what needs to be done from my experience. And I literally told her that you can hire someone who is cheaper,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then I would make a free consultation.
Mhm.
For example, like a beginner Facebook ad, if you really don't have that budget, this is what I
Mhm.
can do for you at the very
Mhm.
least. Like
Mhm.
I'm not really into grabbing your money right now or getting your money,
Yeah.
but I'm really into how can I help you, because we're not
Yeah.
fit, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And right at the end of the call, she literally told me, Carl, it was so great. It was a great time to have a phone call with you.
Mhm.
And she's literally telling me that once she wants to scale up, she's gonna hire
Mhm.
me,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that alone made sense to me. Like, if you're coming from a mindset of you want to help people and not just take
Mhm.
money, 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 right?
Yeah.
You would attract the right audience. And
You
coming
are,
from a
and
place
you
that,
are, just like you said, Carl, like you are ahead of your competition massively because people assume that
yes,
you want to take their money and go and run with it, right? So it's no secret that that's the end goal. But I'd rather you be happy about it. I'd rather you'd want it, and I want it too. Like it's a we work together, we collaborate, we have the same goals, which is helping you grow, get more clients,
hmm,
leads. Like we have the same goal. Ultimately, we are in the same boat because if I don't deliver, you don't gonna come back to me. And
yeah,
if you cannot make more money, you can't pay me anymore, right? So we are on the same boat here. Um, so we should be working together towards that same goal, which is again it takes two, right? It's just not just one person. And then yeah, but I agree
yeah,
with you on that.
yeah. And you know what? Sometimes I would have clients coming to me, and then we were not fit for each other. And
Hmm.
then he would have peers or some coaches, her friends, and he would connect with me.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. Like that happens to me sometimes, that even though you're not the right person, but if they know someone that can benefit from your services at this point, they can send it to you. So I think it all comes back to that being your, Jay Abraham, being the trusted advisor for your clients, genuinely be with integrity, like do what you're gonna say. And they can smell that if you are there to help them or if they are there to make money. And there's no way to hide those intentions, um
Yeah,
no matter
they
what
will
you do.
smell it.
Oh
They
yeah,
will smell it.
you and I can, right? We can, so if
Yeah,
we can, they can too. um Targeting issue, we have this on our list, Carl. And
yeah.
whether it's the wrong audience or it's like targeting everyone. And before we started recording, Carl was like, "Hey, Domi, let's have a disagreement." I'm like, "Cool. On
I'm
what?
not saying that
On the what?
intentionally.
On the what are we gonna have a disagreement?" He's like, "Yeah, I think we should do like broad targeting." And I'm like, "Yeah, I think we're not agreeing on that." So what the hell, Carl? Like, why would you be targeting everyone? What is your, like, just defend your position here, because I think you are like wasting money on shit. Like, since when that worked?
This is a strategy post iOS 14, because
Mm-hmm.
we're getting underreported. We're having underreported data from Ads
Mm-hmm.
Manager, and a lot of these data are aligning to not being able to
Mm-hmm.
scale enough and not being able to know your numbers unless you align that with your, I don't know, Shopify or your page or your sales page for these conversions, or if you're using Google Analytics or some. This, we're getting a
Mm-hmm.
bit technical here, but this
Mm-hmm.
is in regards with Facebook ads.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're someone who are using Facebook ads to target the audience that you want to acquire, then this is something that you might want to listen, because we definitely have a just a slight disagreement about this. I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not saying that purposely, but I was just thinking about, okay, broad audience work with us right now. And I think that targeting happens in the creative, like in your
Mm-hmm.
video sales message, in your
Mm-hmm.
copy. You want to target people, or you want to call out the people who you're targeting in the creatives themselves. So what we would do is we have like a campaign, and then the ad sets, all of the ad sets are just completely the same, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
broad. It's all broad. For
Mm-hmm.
example, we were targeting people who are into relationships, so we would have
Mm-hmm.
that guardrail, just a
Mm-hmm.
single guardrail for interest, for looking for relationship, and it would have like 3 to 5 million people that Facebook is
Mm-hmm.
gonna search audience for. So that's like a pool of, or a lot of audience
Okay.
you can target, and then the messaging would come into your copy, to your headlines, to everything that goes in the ad. So
Mm-hmm.
it it made us lower our costs.
Mm-hmm.
And we noticed that, even if we because right now, cool thing is to also try lead ads, not the
Mm-hmm.
conversion one that we would direct people to a landing
Mm-hmm.
page, or you know we tried lead ads, and it dropped our costs to like
Mm-hmm.
$10.
Mm-hmm.
And it brought us to a great success, because it was qualified leads, but
Mm-hmm.
we had a lower cost for that. So yeah, I don't know what's your take on that.
No, I wanted to disagree again. My job is to disagree here. But I see what you're saying, and interestingly, um, like lately, when you see those like cool results of mine, like those are broad targeting. I mean, we did put some high premium interest and premium
Hmm.
locations. So but otherwise it was not really filtered in like too like interesting wise and like
Hmm.
so we did leave that broad and we did see some more results. But I know my take is to disagree, but unfortunately I can't, because what I have been seeing as well working is the fact that you put certain keywords in your copy. Like, for example, you
Yeah.
selling a course on marketing, put the marketing in the copy and on the landing page, and it's like, here's your new marketing report, and let Facebook run with it. And because it has marketing, it will show it to people who are more prone to or interested in marketing. So I personally, this one I haven't tested myself. I did see people test it and it worked for them. But maybe it's something that you're saying as well. Like you guys have kept it broad, and then in your messaging, you were putting the relationship like certain keywords, and let
Mm.
Facebook decide who is this audience, who
Mhm.
is this the best for, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because it's gonna circle back to being hyper targeted with your audience, with the audience that
Mm-hmm.
you want your content or your ads be seen, right? So if you're targeting middle-aged women,
Mm-hmm.
and basically all those single boys would literally disqualify themselves in the ad, in the
Mm-hmm.
surface level, right, in the top of the
Yeah.
funnel. They're going to disqualify themselves because you're literally calling out middle-aged women, and it doesn't have to be like literally, hey, middle-aged women,
Middle-aged woman.
there it is,
Are you
in
middle-aged?
living in California. Not really like that, but it's more of like um knowing their thoughts, knowing the psychographics, or anything that
Mm-hmm.
they want. For example, if you're targeting, I don't know, Louis Vuitton or Dior, so
Mm-hmm.
they have those money, they have the buying
Mm-hmm.
power, right? So yeah, that's something that we tried, and it pretty
Mm-hmm.
much is working. And then after we identify, because this is in the testing phase. So
Yeah, of
after
course.
we notice that this is the type of copy that is really working, this is the headlines, this is like the hooks
Mm-hmm.
that were really working, then that's the time that we start to put these ad sets into a separate campaign. And that's where the audience testing um,
Mm-hmm. Comes
happens.
in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we should not skip on the fact that we are talking post testing, right? So there always is
Yeah.
a testing phase at the beginning where we test out different audience headlines, copies, and then we know
Hmm.
what works and what doesn't, and we go from there, right? So it's you don't have to skip that, or your media buyer hopefully is not skipping that,
Hmm.
because that still is important to just test out what's working and what's not. I
If he's
think,
skipping
yeah,
that, just hire Dom.
yeah, or me
if
or
your
Carl.
media buyer is if your media buyer is skipping those lines, it is so crucial. Hire Dom.
Or Carl. Also, it's so funny because said hire Dom, and I was like, yeah, hire me. I was like, oh no, no, wait, I courtesy hire Carl. Sorry, glitch in the system. Don't hire me, hire Carl. I'm not. I'm
Awesome.
trying to be, nice and helpful, and like portray the image of someone who is helpful here. So Carl, is I'm sure he can help you. Um, so listen, we I think the last thing that we know it noted here. I think we're gonna wrap up because we are like an hour here. I
Hmm.
think listeners like, oh, I can't listen to this anymore. Hopefully not, because we are so
Hmm.
much fun to listen to. But I think we noted like overall congruency, and I think we kind of touched on that, right? Like,
Yeah.
how am I congruent with my branding? Is my branding quality? Is
Hmm.
my messaging? So I think we noted that, but I think we kind of like already said it, right?
Hmm. Yeah. That's why it's important to have that branding foundation, so that you know your
Hmm.
values, you know the value, you know the mission, you know all of the audience who you're targeting, what they value, how are you getting connected with them. So if you're like targeting middle-aged women, you might not want to put on some curse words in your copy, or you might not want to sound like a single teenage boy in California. I don't know. But
Yeah,
it does have to make sense. You need to align that messaging. You
of
need
course.
to everything has to be consistent in terms of messaging. That's something. That's my 2 cents here.
Yeah, I don't know what Carl has for middle-aged woman.
I'm sorry.
You keep saying middle-aged. I'm like, I don't know what Carl has for middle-aged woman, but I think he
I don't
has
know. No,
something
no.
here. I'm like, this is like the fourth time like you're targeting middle-aged woman. Like, what do you have for it?
I have nothing
Um,
against middle-aged women in America.
but you seem to be targeting them a lot. So if you guys, if
Yeah.
ladies, if you're middle-aged and you see a lot of ads, I think that's probably coming from Carl.
No, no, no. Yeah, we used to target them a lot, but yeah,
Okay,
with my clients, they're the people who are targeting. But yeah,
of course.
it's something I'm giving an example. But
I
if it
know.
makes sense with your people, right? You want to be able to make sure that everything that goes into your brand should speak to the right type of audience. So you would avoid this incongruency or inconsistency with
Hmm.
messaging, with the landing page, with the copy, and everything that goes
Yeah.
in hand.
Yeah, and that's true. And to be honest with you, if you do those things right, you are much better off at the end, because people say, okay, cool, now I have calls, like maybe I need someone who calls my calls and qualifies them one more, like so that whoever comes to the calls, they were already pre-qualified. And but long story short, you spare yourself the cost of like re-qualifying people if you do everything right at the beginning. Okay, so if my messaging is
Yeah.
right, my targeting, my like overall I have a congruency of like who am I portraying, what am I trying to portray here, and like my service, like high end or low end, like whatever, that's very clear to people. Then I don't have to bother with like, okay, so who's gonna call my calls, so that I don't have to waste my time. So you don't have to
Yeah.
pay for those. We call them appointment setters, but essentially they can requalify leads for you, and that's like a separate service. And they like charge like I don't know how much
Yeah.
for per lead to call them and ask them 3 questions. And like, okay, so I just want to qualify you. But no, if you do everything right, hopefully, then you can obviously then spare yourself some money. And I wanted to say something else, but I've completely forgotten it. So I guess that's it for me.
Awesome, Dom. This is a great episode.
Yeah. Well, let the listeners decide whether or not it was one. I
I
think
love
it
it. I
was
love it.
okay. What do you guys think? Hopefully, if you liked it, just give us a like somewhere where you're listening to. Comment below. Put hashtag middle aged woman if you watched so far. Um,
Yeah.
so that we know that you heard Carl talk about middle aged
Yeah.
woman.
Listen, this is like the third episode, and
Yes.
there was a lot of drafts in like the second one, because there's a lot of um, misunderstanding, and we're not really
Yeah.
prepared at that time. But yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep on doing this, giving a lot of value for you. Hopefully, you
Yep.
get some value out of these episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if
Well,
you
that's
guys
the
like
goal.
this, please give us a hi on Facebook and Instagram. Dom, you want to
Yeah.
shout
Just
out
just
your Instagram?
shout out to Carl. No. Yeah, you want me to shut up my socials? Yeah, my socials. Yes, yes. So give us a hi on face. I mean, you
Yep.
might at
We'll,
like
we'll,
80%
we'll,
of
just,
this
we'll just
is
put in
on
the
Facebook.
captions, right? We'll just
Yeah,
put
we'll
in
do
the
that.
show notes, so you guys can
Yeah,
give us a hi, or maybe some
give us some
questions we
love.
can. Yeah,
Yeah,
or if you're really irritated about me saying middle-aged woman, you can
like
tell me in the
yeah,
message. You can message me.
we'll make sure Carl doesn't say that anymore. All right.
All right.
Well, thanks so
Thank you
much
so
for
much,
being here,
Dom.
guys.
I'll
Thanks,
see you in
Carl.
the next episode. Bye.
See you next week, guys. Bye bye.